I have to say, the number of women that Bill was romantically linked to is more than I expected nor remembered.
I knew you guys wouldn't believe me, which is why I taped her. I brought coffee for the two of us.
No, thanks.
Now, if you're worried the caffeine will make you need to move your bowels, I live right across the street.
That's very sweet, but I gotta keep up the pace.
See ya.
Remember when you fell in love with that speed skater on the Wheaties box?
Hey folks, welcome to Squirrel Tactics. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Check out our Patreon and our sister channel. Anywho, let's do this. Okay, so let's get a few things out of the way here. We're looking at the actual relationship, so that discounts some women like Marlene, the jogger from Dang Old Love, voiced by Laura Linney by the way, that Bill digs holes for along her route so that she'd hurt herself and that he could save her.
I'll help you, ma'am. I'm down. My name is...
Which, yeah, that didn't work because of course it didn't work, and she ended up breaking Boomhauer's heart, and this led to my favorite Bill moment of the series.
You're in hell now, Boomhauer. And the only way out is through a long, dark tunnel. And you're afraid to go in because there's a train coming at you, carrying a boxcar full of heartbreak. Well, let me tell you something. All you can do is let it hit you, and then try to find your legs.
Marilyn also doesn't count. She's the woman that Bill met and 'twas the nut before Christmas while he was the Milton Street Santa. And things ended because she showed up for their date a decent amount of time after Christmas, and Bill was still the Milton Street Santa.
Shall we?
You know, why don't you enjoy the chicken? You can just keep the dish.
Yeah, but you and the kids are still coming over Sunday night for haircuts, right?
I like their hair long.
Marilyn was voiced by Ashley Gardner, who did quite a few voices on the show, including Nancy and Dee Dee, as well as another character that we're going to talk about later. Oh, and she apparently does this voice.
I don't know you, that's my purse!
Nor are we going to count Lily or Rose, two widows of Bill's cousins from a beer can named Desire, who vied for his attention.
Nice weekend, Bill?
Both of them.
By the way, fun fact, Lily Rose and Violetta were voiced by the Dixie Chicks. I don't care what they call themselves now, they're the Dixie Chicks. Anywho, remember the woman Bill meets outside the women's prison in Dang Old Love? Yeah, she doesn't count either.
Welcome back to society. May I offer you a ride home?
I'm driving.
So, what were you in for?
Killed my boyfriend.
Does that mean you're single?
However, I do wonder if this is Alicia, the woman who dropped Leanne off in Leanne's saga, considering their similar looks, voices, and tattoos.
Thanks for the lift, Alicia.
All right, then.
We're also not going to count his blind dates.
As a matter of fact, Peggy's got a gal who agreed to go out on a date with Bill. That's right. An actual woman.
No.
So, no Sheila, the woman that Bill ran off using the combination of sheer unadulterated desperation and an iguana in pretty dresses.
You are a gross man. Sheila!
Marry me.
Bill!
Oh, this is so exciting!
I just want my coat. For the love of God, get me my coat.
Allow me.
No Sunny, the woman that Bill grossed out at Pea Soup Swenson's in The Fat and the Furious.
You promised me a fat George Clooney. This is not a fat George Clooney.
Speaking of The Fat and the Furious, we're also not going to count Cindy, the competitive eating groupie that latches onto Bill, but he never seals the deal. Hey, that rhymed. Who was actually voiced by Pamela Anderson?
I like the way you eat soup.
Are you making fun of me? If you are, it's okay. I just like to know.
Hell no. I follow the sport of competitive eating very closely. But I've never seen you before. Cindy Beauchamp. Fan.
Oh, and no Katie Calhoun, the former Miss March 1978 and current waitress at Luli's, voiced by Mimi Rogers, I should add, who becomes Bill's roommate before sleeping with Carl Moss in Bill Gathers Moss.
So I'm Katie Calhoun. I recently got divorced, so I'm looking for a new place. I hostess at Luli's and...
Are you the same Katie Calhoun who was Miss March 1978?
Why, yes, I am.
Oh, God.
Okay, so that's all out of the way. Let's get down to Bill's actual relationships, and first and foremost, we need to talk about the elephant in the room as it pertains to Bill's love life, and that's his ex-wife, Lenore. Now, we did a whole video on Lenore pretty much because there was way too much to go over in this video, but I digress. Lenore and Bill were married for about 5 years, with her openly cheating on him starting around 2 weeks after they got married.
My God, what happened to you?
Yeah, I looked pretty good back then, didn't I? Of course, that was before Lenore started cheating on me. 2 weeks before.
Their relationship was extremely toxic and pretty much broke Bill, but ended when she left him on Christmas Eve. We saw just how bad she had damaged him in Pretty Pretty Dresses, where he had a mental breakdown and pretended to be Lenore.
Hank, don't you recognize me? I'm Lenore.
What is going on?
Well, I'm just washing a dress for your big party, silly.
Bill, take off the dress.
Why do you keep calling me Bill?
She would show back up in his life later in Hank and the Great Glass Elevator,
Hi, Bill.
Lenore.
where Lenore comes back around and Bill ends up ruining his relationship for a chance with Lenore, though she doesn't actually want him.
Lenore, will you marry me?
Bill, it wouldn't work out. You live in Arlen, I live in... Well, I probably shouldn't tell you where I live.
But he does finally wise up and he sends her on her way.
Ugh.
Yay! And while you're at it, blow her a kiss.
And that relationship that Lenore showed up to destroy was with Ann Richards, voiced by former Democratic Governor of Texas, Ann Richards. Their relationship occurs in Hank and the Great Glass Elevator and begins when Bill takes the fall for Hank mooning the former governor.
The Honorable Ann Richards.
Yeah!
By the way, this was not Ann Richards' first appearance on the show. She appeared in Hank's Got the Willies as a guest at Willie Nelson's party, where we can see her playing tetherball with one of his roadies in the background.
What's that chord you hit on?
Just gotta hold it just a little longer before we go to F.
Anywho, Bill is her date to a fancy gala where he runs into Lenore. We already saw that.
I thought I saw a ghost or a horrible hobgoblin.
How you doing, baby?
And he ends up going for Lenore, leading to Ann Richards breaking up with him.
You're not the kind of woman who'll let me juggle her with someone else, are you?
It's over between us.
Ann was actually a surprisingly good fit with Bill, and the two really seemed to enjoy each other's company.
Your boat. I get it.
Well, that's okay.
No, I just stepped on a coin.
At least those two ended on decently good terms, which is more than can be said about Bill's next ex, Reverend Karen Stroup, voiced in her first appearance by Mary Tyler Moore, and after that by Ashley Gardner. I told you she'd be back.
That's my purse!
Now, we see Bill try to make a move on her in her first appearance in Revenge of the Lutefisk.
There she is. I'm a successful tire distributor. Back me up.
And the two kind of drop hints towards each other, sometimes not the most subtle hints either.
With those strong legs, you should be able to carry a lot of Bibles, eh? And maybe after I could get you to hang some decorations. I shouldn't be climbing ladders. Oops. You know, Bill, I'm not a priest. The church permits me to explore.
But they finally get together in The Passion of the Deautrive when Bill starts spending more time at the church after having a possible near-death experience.
Feels like someone's trying to tell me something.
Yeah, that was me 6 months ago when I said you needed to get your roof inspected.
Something that bothers me more than it really should here is, where's his attic? His house has a pitched roof, but here it's flat and there's no attic space, so where is his attic? Anywho, his increased time at the church meant increased time with Reverend Stroup, and after a short time considering missionary work, the two end up getting together, which Bill hints at to Hank.
I had a long talk with Reverend Stroup and decided you were right. My purpose is right here in Arlen. Everything I need is in this church, all wrapped up with a green satin stole.
Well, that's a weird way to put it, but I'm glad you came to your senses.
And not long after, Hank figures it out. I mean, the green stove thing should have been a pretty big clue, and he reacts about as well as we expect Hank to react.
No!
Hank isn't happy about their relationship, but Reverend Stroup gives a totally justifiable reason for why it shouldn't be seen as a bad thing.
Hank, it's okay. Ministers are allowed to date. I'm not just a person of God. I'm a woman, too.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
Hank also isn't happy that they have to keep the relationship a secret.
It sure looked like him. He was in his car with some woman.
She was a prostitute!
Bill!
And he ends up getting used as a third wheel so that Bill and Karen can go out on dates and not look suspicious.
Hank, don't be mad.
Don't talk to me.
I had to trick you. You wouldn't have come if I told you Karen and I wanted a romantic evening out and we needed you for cover. Sorry, Hank. Would have looked weird if I didn't buy one for you, too.
Hank has a talk with her and tells her that she should be open about her relationship and not keep it a secret, even though having a relationship was why she had previously left St. Paul. By the way, we will be doing a video on Reverend Stroup in case you're wondering why we're not going too far in depth into her character here. She comes clean to the congregation and admits to her relationship with Bill with some interesting reactions.
Oh my God.
Hank, what's happening?
She starts hanging out with the guys more because she's hanging out with Bill, and, Bill's hanging out with the guys, but it's still rather awkward.
Afternoon, Bill. Reverend Stroup.
Hank, please call me Karen.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
And the couple go out to the movies, where they make it really rather awkward. Hank gets called into a meeting with the church deacons and gets asked to get them to tone down their public displays of affection because it's making everyone pretty uncomfortable.
This is about Reverend Stroup and her relationship.
Dang it.
But when he tells Bill about this, Reverend Stroup overhears him and she ain't too happy.
You've got my Karen so riled up she's down at the church talking to your love-hating deacon buddies right now.
They don't hate love, Bill.
They just hate your love.
She has a meeting with the deacons and ends up quitting her job so that she and Bill can date openly, which of course makes Bill completely lose interest in her immediately.
This is unacceptable. They can't fire you for love. That's discrimination.
They didn't fire me, Bill. I quit.
We're gonna fight this. We're gonna do... Wait, what?
She moves into Bill's house because she has to, and Bill starts to be unhappy again, wanting to break up, but knowing that Karen pretty much gave up her entire life for him.
Maybe God was tired of her too, and his plan was to dump her on your doorstep.
Please take her back.
Boomhauer suggests that since he can't break up with her, that he should start treating her badly so that she breaks up with him, and Hank's against that. But Bill tries it anyway with not great results.
You want to break up with me?
I don't want to break up with you. I love you.
I know.
Out of ideas, Bill goes to Hank, who tells him to be honest with her, so Bill breaks up with Karen on Hank's patio, and she does not take it well.
I pegged her for a crier, not a screamer.
Should I be seeing this? I feel like I'm growing up too fast.
Dang it, don't stomp on the grass. I just reseeded that section. Wait, she's...
Whoa!
I think she saw us. Duck.
So they break up, and luckily she was able to get her position at the church back, but she wasn't too happy with Bill. Now, the failure of Bill's relationship with Reverend Stroup was all Bill's fault, which was not the case for Charlene, not to be confused with the earlier Marlene.
Hello, Charlene.
I'm Marlene.
Hello, Marlene.
I'm Charlene.
Chew your gum.
She and Bill met on a blind date in Untitled Blank McCormick Project, also known as 3 Men and a Bastard. I'm gonna be real quick on this one because I hate this episode. It's easily in my top 3 worst episodes of the series, and if I had my way, this episode would not exist. So, Cliff's Notes version here, she's a single mom of 2 kids. One of the kids turns out to be John Redcorn's daughter. Dale thinks something's off about her, so he gets her DNA tested, and figures out that she's Joseph's half-sister, and therefore, according to Dale, that means that she is his child.
What are you...
Joseph and Kate share paternal DNA. They have the same father.
Oh, God. Dale, so this means...
Precisely. Kate is my daughter.
Huh?
Dale then sabotages Bill's relationship because he doesn't want Bill to raise his child. And yes, the irony of the whole him raising John Redcorn's child thing, yeah.
Sure was nice of Redcorn to agree to raise my child for me. Can't say I'd do the same.
And Charlene ends up cheating on Bill and leaving him for John Redcorn. Seriously, it's a terrible episode and it should not exist. Moving on, thankfully, we come to Leanne Platter, mother of Luann, and overall terrible person. We've covered her before, but long story short, she's an abusive alcoholic that is quite possibly worse than Lenore.
Well, where's the damn food? Did fungus for brains already gobble it all up?
Gobble up. Yeah.
Yeah, she also has a penchant for stabbing men with forks. She did it to Hoyt, but after seeing Hoyt, I can't much blame her. And she very nearly did it to Buckley.
Pork! Pimply little!
Seriously, if Peggy hadn't stopped her, Leanne would have stabbed Buckley straight in the face there. Her relationship with Bill started out well. She kind of used him for money a bit, but, not too much out of the ordinary. Unfortunately, then she started drinking when his foot fungus got involved, and we got to see the real Leanne.
We're engaged.
It was supposed to be a surprise! I need a smoke.
This is the happiest day of my life.
Luckily, she was chased off by Peggy and left while stealing Bill's car, but hey, at least she was at her daughter's wedding. And last but certainly not least, we have Peggy Hill.
Move this man!
I'm kidding, it's Laoma Supinusandphone. Fun fact, Laoma isn't a Laotian name or word for that matter. It's this in Mandarin Chinese, and it means mother. I mean, it kind of makes sense since she is Khan's mom. Yes, Khan has a mother.
Huh, Khan has a mother? Somehow I always pictured a pod situation.
Voiced by Amy Hill, she's mentioned a few times. She's who Min gets household cleaning tips that she gives to Peggy in exchange for early crossword answers in Bystand Me.
Okay, now that was uncalled for, you ngah cow kwai pa!
Oh, no, don't call her an ow cow kwai pa.
Yeah? Well, you know that couch you sleep on when you stay here? It pull out. No more tips.
But her only actual appearance is in Maid in Arlen, where she moves in with her son's family, and she and Min have issues almost immediately.
Min, your stew looks nice, but I would add just a bit more oyster sauce for a richer flavor. If I may. If I may just demonstrate.
Hey, Grandma. Uh-oh. Already?
Laoma is very much an old-school housewife, constantly cleaning, which of course bugs Min, and Min bugs Laoma too.
What are you doing?
Oh, just some cleaning.
No, Laoma. It's not necessary. I cleaned house yesterday just fine.
If I may just demonstrate.
So, to get away from her daughter-in-law, she becomes the Hills' housekeeper, much to Khan's unhappiness.
Laoma! Coming, Miss Peggy!
Honestly, the best parts of this episode are just Khan freaking out and reacting to his mother doing things that he deems to be beneath her.
You survive brutal dictatorship in communist states only to become slave in America?
Oh, don't be silly, Khan. Now, does this Hank name tag look clean enough to you?
As far as how the two met, well, Min was trying to get the guys to hire Laoma so that she would have less time off and therefore less time at home, and Bill decides to sign up.
Why not you, Bill? Have you become emotionally attached to your many rats and cockroaches?
No. They can leave anytime they want. I wouldn't care.
When Laoma sees what she's up against at Bill's house, she's actually really happy to have such a project.
This will take me months. Thank you, Bill.
And what was Con's reaction to his mother being Bill's housekeeper? She and Bill end up bonding over their shared loneliness while she gives him a haircut and he ends up asking her out.
Forgive me if I'm out of line, but would you ever consider spending time with me? You know, outside of my house?
They go on a date and while walking through a meadow and talking about their past.
A heart attack took my husband away from me to the next life, but I believe he returned as the gentle wind that blows through this meadow, even now.
My God. That's the most beautiful description of a haunted meadow I've ever heard.
Laoma makes a move on Bill, but he's unsure, yet she finds a way to convince him otherwise.
My heart. It's been broken so many times.
I will be gentle, if I may demonstrate.
Bill tells the guys that he's dating Con's mom, and they have an understood reaction, though Dale is surprisingly supportive.
God dang, man. Bill, she's 20 years older than you. She's literally an old maid. My God, she's perfect for you. Congratulations, Bill.
And we get more Con, who, keep in mind, doesn't know about Bill and his mother being in a relationship quite yet.
Every time my mother come back from your house, she's sweaty and exhausted.
Come on, guys, cool it.
From now on, you stop riding her so hard.
Then we finally get to the moment where Con does find out about it, and I hate to keep talking about Con, but seriously, he is the best part of this episode.
Anybody want to watch the game?
He confronts Laoma when she returns from her date, but she gives a pretty good reasoning and is respectful of the situation. So Con agrees to give them a chance.
I am an old, lonely woman. Bill's such a big, strong man. When I in his arms, I feel like delicate little hummingbird, and he might...
Ah! Too vivid! No!
She and Bill truly do seem to have a happy, healthy relationship. Arguably, it's his best relationship. And Con does try to handle his feelings about the matter, but I get that he's having a hard time with it.
She's like a teenager. She nearly caused me to hit the guardrail driving home.
Feeling dizzy and short of breath. I think I'm having a stroke. No, don't get up.
And in his desperation, Con concocts a plan to break Bill and his mother up, thanks to an unknowing assist from Connie.
Now, anything I say, they counter with, how's that six-toed possum baby your mother have with Redneck?
What do you think, Dad? Does this look like a convincing replica of Harrison Schmidt?
Astronaut turned senator. Now this is the kind of man who should be dating my mother. Man who conquer moon. Not man who conquer moon pie.
So Con pays Bill a visit and informs him that Laoma has fallen in love with scientist, astronaut, and former U.S. Senator Harrison Schmidt, and that she only stayed with Bill because she pitied him.
We're in love!
Oh, come on, Bill. You know it was only a matter of time before she leave you. Like your wife did.
This, of course, wasn't true, but Bill was convinced that the best thing for Laoma was to break up with her so that she could be with her true love, which he ended up doing during dinner.
Bill, are you not well?
I'm okay.
No, something is wrong. Usually you're licking bottom of bowl by now. You are breaking up with me.
Bill does not take the breakup well, like seriously, not well at all.
What the hell are you doing, Bill?
Sorry. It's just that this is where Laoma and I first made love.
Why would that be the first place? Never mind. Laoma doesn't take it well and decides that she can't live so close to Bill and instead plans to move into Pine Brook Acres.
Pine Brook Acres?
It is a combination retirement home and cemetery. It's really quite convenient.
Gotta love those retirement home names. Hank talks to Bill and tells him that he has to go after Laoma if that's who he wants, no matter what anyone says, which is what Bill needed to hear.
Look out, spaceman. Bill Deautrive is coming through.
So Bill heads off to tell Laoma how he feels and to fight for his woman, though I find it odd that he was at Hank's house next door to Con's, yet he's running from the other end of the alley here.
Okay, time to waste it.
Bill?
Laoma, wait. Don't go.
I am sorry. I must.
Bill tells Laoma that he doesn't want her to go and that he can be better than Harrison Schmidt, which confuses her, and he explains what Con told him about her and Harrison Schmidt. But at least Con has a good excuse for his behavior.
I only did it because the thought of you two together make me sick to the very pit of my stomach. Oh, come on! Like you all wouldn't have done the same thing if Deautrive was after your mother?
And the episode ends with the two of them getting back together and Con more or less making peace with their relationship.
You know, he's not so bad. He's kind of like those dogs that's so ugly they almost cute. Yeah.
And yeah, after that she pretty much disappears and we never hear anything else about her and Bill being together.
One thing I almost forgot.
Oh yeah, there was the very next episode, The Witches of East Arlen, where Bobby reads Bill's fortune and he has this to say.
Things have been going pretty well for me. You know, with my girlfriend Laoma and...
Oh, wait. It's upside down. That means something. Pain, affliction, tears, sadness, desolation.
So they were still together after the episode and it just kinda got dropped. Well, not kinda, it did intentionally get dropped because the powers that be decided that Bill was funnier when he was miserable than when he was happy. So Bill and Laoma broke up because people would rather laugh at sad Bill. So surprisingly, though he's known as a lovelorn loser who's fat, bald, and old, Bill doesn't have a terrible track record when it comes to attracting women. Yeah, he sometimes go for women that are broken and berate him, or older women who tend to be more motherly towards him. And it's often his own insecurity and or lack of a want to commit that ultimately ends his relationships. Other people have ruined his love life before, but the person doing the most damage was always Bill. He just couldn't figure a way to get out of his own way. It also didn't help that the people in charge wanted to keep him miserable because it was funnier. But all in all, Bill has had a tough go of it, sometimes his own fault, but hopefully he ends up finding someone that can make him happy, but still just as funny.
That's my purse!
Bill, why don't you take Marilyn out someplace nice for Valentine's Day? Women like Valentine's Day. They find it romantic.
Marilyn's gone.
Of course she is.